Welcome to Kendra's Artistic Crochet Designs. So today is Technique Tuesday, and I am going to show you a technique. I'm going to show you how to sew together the Charizard we've been making. So we have the body, the head here, the tail, two arms, and these are the points of the wings, and then this is the fire. This is the two legs, two wings, the underbelly, and we also have two eyebrows. We've got there's 12 altogether, so there's the toenails and fingernails, and then we have the fingers, six fingers here, and then of course we in order to do this, you're going to need a needle to sew everything together, and you may need some extra polyfill, so we'll have that in hand as well. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to sew the head onto the body. And I'm going to take this, and there's the hole right here that I want to bring it shut more. So I'm going to bring that shut. We don't need this string here. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that through here and cut it off. And all I did was just sew that hole together and knock that off. So we don't need that. Alright. So the head, the body looks like this, and you have this ridge. It goes to the back. So this is the front and this is the back. And you're going to put the head right in there, and as you turn this around, you'll see that it'll get sewn around like this up on the head. So let's get this needle ready here. And I want to make sure that we sew this head on correctly. So you see, this kind of looks like a beak right here. You want that straight out like that. So you want to make sure that your head is straight, so this beak is straight out. Alright, so I'm going to, what we're going to do is we're going to take and sew. It's whip stitches. So you take a piece of this and go into the head and bring it back out, and you're just going to whip stitch the head onto the body. And you want to go all the way around it. I'm hoping that you're able to see what I'm doing here. I'm trying something new by using the table because there's so many things. My little table wasn't gonna be able to show everything, so I'm trying to use a bigger table. So you'll just have to like turn your Charizard so that you can get at it and see what you're doing. We're almost all the way around. Almost got the head on him. Alright. Alright, so now we're back around to where we were. And now you're going to, at the end, you're going to kind of make a knot. Go in and going to make a knot in the string like this. And pull it tight. And it wouldn't hurt to put another one in there. And then I'm going to bury the end into the dinosaur. So we're just going to bury it, come out down here. The dinosaur, the Charizard. I guess he is sort of a dinosaur. Alright. And now we've got we've got his head on there. There's our Charizard. Alright. I want to see. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to sew the tail on. So we'll turn him around. And I've already got this tail. What I want to do though first is I want to sew this onto the tail. So this is the flame that we made. And it gets sewn onto the end of the tail. So I'm just gonna sew around this thing. There it is. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to knot this a couple of times. And then bury that into the end here. Bury that end in there. And then cut off the excess. That's one thing about doing amigurumi. You could bury all your ends inside, and I love that about amigurumi. Okay, so I've got, this is the way I want my tail. I've got that that pipe cleaner in there, so it'll so we're going to put the tail goes right in here. So it's going to go down on the table when you put it on. So we've got to put the string here onto the needle. Alright, we got that. Alright, and we've got to make sure now that we have the back of the Charizard. We'll make sure we got the back of him. Alright, make sure we get him in the right place. Alright, so, and we're just going to whip stitch this. I think you could see this, yeah. I'm going to whip stitch, just like we did the head, all the way around the tail. So you're going to take the piece of the back and whip stitch it with the tail and go all the way around it like that. Alright, once you get it started, it ain't going to be going nowhere else. So it kind of just get comfortable with your Charizard and just turn the Charizard as you go around it. Holding the tail in place until you get the whole thing sewed on. One thing, the Charizard has a lot of pieces to sew on compared to the other Pokemon. Alright, so we're turning. I'm excited to finally be getting my Charizard done because he's going to be in my studio. are, all the way around it. That's the last stitch. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to put a couple knots in this. And there you go. And knot that up, and then we're going to take and bury the rest of it up into the tail. Come back out and pull it out. And cut off the excess. There we go. So now, there's his head and his tail. Let's see, can you see that? There's his head and his tail. Now. All right. Let's see the next thing that goes on to our Charizard. We got to put the stripe. All right. So this is the stripe. And we may need a little help. So his stripe goes from the tail to his belly right up here. So you may have to stretch it a little bit. But the best thing to do is I've got a couple of stitch markers that I'm going to try to, let's see, what did I do with them? There we go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stitch marker here and I'm going to kind of put these together. Yeah. And then I have another needle here because this has to go the bottom of his tail up over his belly, and so it goes right here. So I'm just going to take this needle and put this there. This is the reason why I said you need an extra long thread, because it's going to take some time to sew this thing on. So now that I've got it in place, I'm going to start sewing it down. Get the stuff out of my way. Let me make sure I've got that in the right place before I do that. So we've got to go up over the belly and there. Should go right there. All right. So again, we're just going to whip stitch around it until we get all the way around it and get it sewn on. And now that I've started there, It's just a little fidgety here. Put that in there. So I kind of put this needle down here so it kind of keeps everything. I don't want it to move on me. So we're just moving on around this because we're going to go all the way around this thing until the whole thing is sewn on. All right. I think this is the fun part about making amigurumis is getting all the pieces all done and then sewing the whole thing together. I think this is the most fun part about it. And this guy here, he has a lot of pieces to sew on. Well, we're almost down to the tip of the tail. And I'm going to take this thing out because it is not needed anymore. Now, back up the other side. we go. We're almost done. I hope we're going to have enough yarn to go all the way around it. I think we're going to make it just in the nick of time here. Talk about playing yarn chicken. Yep, right at the beginning. Now I'm going to put a couple knots in here. I'll put one more knot in here. We are like, all right. And then we're just going to bury the rest of it in here. I'm just going to make it come out here. And you know what? We may not need to cut that off. We'll just leave that in there. Here we go. Here is our Charizard. That's his belly stripe. That's the belly stripe. And now he's got that on. Alright. So the belly stripe is on. And now we get to put his arms on. So that's these two things. And so his arms go on each side of the belly stripe like this, as you can see. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sometimes, if you have straight pins, sometimes it helps to put some straight pins in. Now, I don't have any down here, but sometimes it helps to put some straight pins in to hold your arm where you want it, and then you can sew it and then take them out as you go. Alright, but for today I'm going to try to do this without the straight pins since I don't have any down here. Alright, so you see this little dip right here? You could put that arm right there. Put him on his side a little bit. And the same thing. You're just going to sew around it. Until it's sewn on. There he is. And then put a couple knots in there. There. And then you can either send it through the body or send it up the arm. I'll just send it up the arm, I think, here. And then that way we can cut it off. And there he is. So the other arm on, which is on this side. Thread up the needle. I want to put him, yeah, right there. So around this one, in much the same fashion, so you get all the way around it. Put a couple knots here. Knot that up. Send it up the arm and out. And we'll cut that off. You always have a lot of extra strings after you're done with putting together, but like I said, the strings you can use the strings for stuffing. You don't have to throw them away. You don't want to waste any yarn. Alright, so he needs some legs now, so he needs to be like sitting up like this, so we need to get him some legs. I'm going to put his legs here, there, and here. This is where his little legs go. That way he can hold himself up and he wouldn't be crawling on his belly. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to sew on the legs so the legs will be moving. So what we're going to do is set it there. This is where his legs should go. Right here. Yeah. I'm going to there's that little hole that was left. I want to sew it in, sew it up. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to bring it outside here, like this. And we're going to take it all the way through the leg and all the way through the dinosaur to the other side. Okay, so this has come out all the way on the other side. All right. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to do the same thing here. Sew this hole shut. And bring it out this way, and then I'm going to take it through the whole leg like this, through the leg into the dinosaur, and I'm going to bring that needle, let's see, all the way through. And I'm also, this came out. Let me put it back in here. I'm going to bring it through this this leg again. And we're going to go in here. See it where it's coming out? We're going to go right in here. And we're going to bring it back through here to the other side again. There it is. So you've got it there. All right. This is the string I just brought through. And here is the other string. And what I'm going to do is, with this one, I want to bring this through this leg one more time. I'm bringing this string back through the leg again, and then back through to the other side. So I can tie it together in here. I'm tying it together down in there so they don't come apart. 2 or 3 knots, and then you can just bury these ends into the body of the dinosaur. Or I keep saying dinosaur. It's a Charizard. Hopefully by the time we get him done, he'll be a Charizard. There. cut those off. There. Now he's got little legs. He's got his legs. And as the legs are movable. See? Because I used that method. That's not the method they tell you to do. I decided to use that method because I wanted the legs movable. I kind of learned that off of one of the YouTubers when they were making amigurumi. Alright. So, there he is so far. So we've got his arms and his legs, his tail on him. And now we need to put his fingers on him. So there's 3 fingers for each. Should be 6. Oh, that's a point. And these. These are his horns. Okay. I'm looking for... These are the points of the wings. Oh my goodness. These are the fingers. Alright, 1 for each hand. One for each arm. So what we're going to do is the first finger is going to go on the very top of his arm. And you're just going to sew that in there on the top. Alright, we're going to take and knot this. Well, alright, come on. Let me get that to go through there. There we go. Knot that. And then bury it. This is not going to allow me to knot it again. Let's just hope that don't come out. So we'll bury that. The other 2 fingers will go on each side, like this and like this. So it'll look like this. So All right, all the way around there. So we'll knot that off. And bury that up the arm. And we'll cut that off. Alright, so one more finger on here to go. And it's going to go on the other side like this. So it's like you're almost making a cross. All right. Take and knot that a couple of times. There, knot that, and then bring it up the arm. And there's his fingers. Okay. Alright, so there's his little fingers. So I'm going to let you do the other arm on your own, and we will come back then. Okay, thank you.